Boy, things got heated on Capitol Hill with Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett went off on Republicans. You know, Donald Trump has been doing all he can to shut down the release of all the Epstein files. Now you got this stupid fool, House Speaker Mike Johnson, claiming that Donald Trump was an FBI informant to take down Epstein. They just make shit up every single day. But Congresswoman Crockett, she wasn't having none of that. Roland.
It's interesting that we're sitting here and we're talking about the so-called threats to the First Amendment when the biggest threat to free speech right now is the old guy that is sitting over in the Oval. Now, Mr. Farage and I met over a month ago, and he has made it a brand of being this free speech warrior. And one of the things that I wanted to recap was the fact that he literally tried to shut down my ranking member as he was engaging in his own free speech. It seems like it's more so free speech for me, but not for thee, a lot of times with certain people. And it's sad that he had to run and have lunch with Trump or to go raise some money for his 4-member party. So, Mr. Price, you get to be the lucky one to help me figure out what exactly free speech advocates believe. It's good to see you again. You tell me whether these government actions support free speech or suppress it. Let's call it free speech or federal suppression. Fining or defunding news outlets or companies because they don't share a particular political message.
I think I'm not entirely sure what context you're referring to. I think I'd need a little bit more information.
So, long story short, if they decide that they are going to fine or defund any news outlet simply because it doesn't necessarily go far left or far right, do you think that that is a violation of free speech?
Well, I'm not entirely sure how it would connect with, let's say, the area of expertise that I have. I think you may be referring to the PBS controversy. It's probably not something that I would be able to really...
Not necessarily, but let me go to Professor K. Professor K, did you understand my question? Fining or defunding news outlets or companies because they don't share a particular political message?
Yeah, thank you for the question. At the very core of the First Amendment is a prohibition of viewpoint discrimination.
Okay.
And what you described sounds like viewpoint discrimination.
So it definitely sounds like federal suppression. If you require news outlets and companies to have content moderators to ensure their coverage promotes a political ideology or leaning, would that be federal suppression?
Well, that does sound like an interference with a company's content moderation decision.
Banning materials because of their content.
Materials?
Yes, so like books.
Oh, of course. Well, and we've seen this in the range of book bans at libraries across the country.
Absolutely. What about threatening private companies with lawsuits or fines unless they do the government's bidding?
It sounds like pressure that would be undue, yes.
Okay, so I agree with you. All of these actions are exactly what Trump has done since he's taken office. Make no mistake, Trump is weaponizing his idea of free speech to force folks and companies to become his political puppets to promote his propaganda. Trump and Republicans defunded NPR because they argued it was biased. Trump has removed books discussing racial discrimination at U.S. military academies, including the amazing Maya Angelou's autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. He's tried to strip funding to schools across the country if they don't remove materials that include discussions of racial discrimination or that promote diversity. And in order for the merger between Paramount and Skydance to happen, the FCC chairman and Republican-appointed commissioners required Skydance to establish a bias monitor. And in its FCC order noted reports, quote, concerning negative media coverage of the Trump administration. This is to say nothing of Trump pushing television networks to get rid of comedians and talk show hosts who criticize his administration, say like Mr. Colbert. Let's call this what it is. It's Trump weaponizing the idea of free speech to force people, institutions, and companies to be his mouthpieces. This ain't free speech, it's propaganda. Meanwhile, my Republican colleagues are out here having a meltdown over the European bill, one that, by the way, includes provisions to fight child trafficking. You know, it's frustrating because we talk about being fiscally responsible and we talk about free speech. And right now, as we're having these discussions, you know who's trying to shut down members from voting in the way that they want to vote? It's the president, who literally said he would look at anyone who decided that they were going to vote to release the Epstein files as hostile. That sounds like a threat as it relates to all First Amendment protections, in addition to the fact that it's literally contravening our constitutional duty that we swore an oath to, because we don't swear to an orange king. Instead, we have sworn an oath to the Constitution, and we were elected to represent the people that elected us. Thank you so much, and I'll yield.
Candace, these people don't give a damn about free speech. What they care about is that they have free speech and they shut everyone else down.
Not only they shut other people down, but they also make them pay. It costs you to say what you want. Ask ABC, ask CBS. But what we're going to see now with these Epstein files is something else that they would have never seen before. And that is, as we know, these women have come together, and people from all sides of the political spectrum are now saying, we can just give that list by ourselves. We can go on this floor, we can claim immunity and use somebody else as a mouthpiece who has volunteered, and we are going to get that list by ourselves. He's got another thing coming. I don't think he saw this coming. I don't think he saw the crossing of people who have always been at the other end of the spectrum come together to say, this is ridiculous, and you can't force us to pay you to shut our mouths. We are going to say what we want because we're on the political floor. And that's going to be the difference, I think, in this one with these Epstein files. It's really a shame, too, because I think that people, they're just trained to listen to Trump. And the more and more he says something, at some point, it's like the tipping point. And all of a sudden, they just believe him for no reason. It's partly that. It's partly the algorithm. It's partly just people wanting to believe that the vote that they put in is actually working out. When it's not, we are going to see a lot from these Epstein files, and everything that we've seen so far is leading me to believe that we're going to go down a path that we have never gone down before.
This is what happens when you elect somebody, Michael, who has no morals, values, principles, or ethics, no integrity, no honor, or decency.
Absolutely. Also, don't forget somebody who tried to overthrow the government and incited the insurrection. Let's not forget that also. And then gave a pardon to the insurrectionists, 1,500 of them approximately, on his first day back in office. So this was predictable. And this is a guy who was good friends, but according to Jeffrey Epstein, who's dead now, he can't speak for himself, but he was good friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 10 years. OK, and see, the question I have is like, OK, so Jeffrey Epstein was sexually abusing all these women for years. Right. So at what point did Donald Trump realize that Jeffrey Epstein was sexually abusing underage girls and women before he cut off the friendship with them? See, that's a question that I have. You were friends with him for about 15 years, right? At what point did you realize, you know what, there's something wrong with this guy? But this is when you deal with somebody with no morals, who is an authoritarian, who is in mental decline. They talked about Biden's mental decline. This guy's getting worse day by day, okay? And he's getting desperate also. This is not going away. Speaker Johnson ended the House session before the recess a day early to avoid taking a vote. And then they come back after vacation, and and then you have the press conference, okay? This is exploding, and you have last count I heard, there are two Republicans short of Thomas Massey's and Ro Khanna's bill being able to be put on the floor, getting that pushed through. They need 218 votes. So this is not going away. It's getting worse for Donald Trump.
Matt?
I mean, my thoughts are a little bit of a combination of Candace and Michael's. I mean, something that Candace indicated is what I see, and that's the Trump administration takes the position of the more we say it, the more we legitimize it. I think the problem with that, to Candace's point, is that they underestimated how much people would draw the line at his association with Epstein and them not being truthful about what's in those Epstein files. And, you know, all of Bondi's back and forth and DOJ's back and forth about whether they'll release things, what they won't release, all of that. Long story short, I don't think that even the people in their base are okay with his association with that. And I think they're running scared, frankly, to see how long they can keep it concealed and see if they can distract us with other things before that flag really gets planted. But I think you got a problem when even crazy Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying that she's going to, you know, want to know everything that's in those files, right? Like that's, they've been towing the MAGA line so long that when you see a break like that, I think that's a harbinger of something bad to come for the administration. So, I mean, that's what I'm seeing. But what I see with the media and what I see with people in his base is the more they say it's legitimized. And the thing I don't understand with that is you've done a great job on this show over the years of pointing out all the dishonesty, all the falsehoods, all the lies. Well, you see so much vacillation as it relates to the administration and his relationship with Epstein and what they're going to release with Epstein, that at a certain point, you know, you wonder the people who are the same people who were, you know, calling for the heads of all those people when they thought that pizza place there in D.C. housed, you know, a den of pedophiles at the bottom of it, those crazy folks. Those are the same people who were a part of MAGA. And I don't know how long they can run before they have to give that information up. And I suspect that information is going to Michael's point, show that he had a much cozier relationship with Epstein than he's willing to let on. And I think that is going to be, you know, irreparably damaging to him and his administration. But I don't know what the back end of that is, because you were watching him trample over the Constitution on nearly a daily basis. And the guardrails we thought would keep, you know, some of that action from happening have not been effective. So I don't know what that means at the end, but I think they're running from having to give that information up.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.